Hey everybody, is this in front of you? Is this a man or machine? I don't know. Maybe it's your new crewmate. Anyway, it's time for Syntax Live. How's everybody doing? Hey, hope everybody's got me good. Let me know if the audio is good. Let me know if the video is good. If it's wrong, let me know inside the chat box. And let's get started. First things first, I want to let you guys know, yes, there was a delay. Sorry about that last couple of days. But it's kind of hard to post content when you don't have power. I just got power back over here in the Northeast. We kind of got socked in by some really, really nasty weather, and it knocked a bunch of trees down. And I was out of power for 2 days. So, I mean, it is what it is. I want to get out for you, but there's only so much I can do. All I can do right now is grab a drink, just like everybody else, and let's go. All right. Aside from that, yes, there is new content coming out tonight. What's coming out tonight is a continuation of a new crewmate. Apparently, that one is going over really well. Everyone seems to like it, and it actually got me almost demonetized. I got a message that said apparently content was questionable, and they were looking at it, and then I sent them back a video, and I'm back up and running, so it's all good. And they also seem to have a problem with the fact that I also posted on Rumble. It's the same stuff. I had to link the two together. So apparently YouTube can say on Rumble, you can't say this, you can't say, I don't know. Somebody's got a head up their butt. Maybe it's for maybe it's for the warmth. Who knows? It is winter. But regardless of that, yep, just want to say, new crewmate is coming out tonight. I hope you guys like the one that dropped at noon. If you haven't seen that one, I double checked to make sure that it was actually running, and I noticed I had 69 likes. Considering the context that's in that story, yeah, that gave me a good chuckle. Right after new crewmate, and it's going to be lucky number 7. That's how many parts it is. That's how many chapters I've got. Right behind that is the second part of You Hired the Humans? Are you insane? Yes, that one is actually a 2-parter. It is coming out. And again, it's going to be a couple of days. It's already there. It's in the queue, ready to drop. Had to run things through today because, again, I couldn't actually build the videos. Let's see. On top of that, yep, talked about those two. Just to answer a couple questions, the Man and Machine, yeah, that one's pretty much done. I know a few people are asking me to extend it, but there's not much I can do to extend it. I can work on it over time, but I mean, it is what it is. Let's see. Oh, the other issue I wanted to bring up was, and one of you actually brought this up, and thank you for bringing it up. Apparently, YouTube decided to take a lot of my playlists and shuffle them like somebody's shuffling the deck of cards. So lucky me, I get to go in and fix a whole bunch of that stuff. So if you jump into a playlist and you're a bit confused why they're out of order, thank you, YouTube. Appreciate that. As soon as they gave me the whole thing and said demonetized, as soon as I got my emails, I was like, what the hell? And of course, everything's coming up on the phone, and I see a whole bunch of stuff like, what the hell happened to the order of your videos? They're all jacked up. I haven't fixed them all yet, so please bear with me on this. I do have other stuff besides making videos. I would like to spend all day on them, but, life happens. All right, on to the main topic of today, and I want to bring this up because a few folks were wondering about creating the situation, starting your own story, okay? And the best way I can say to start your own story is this. You know the situation you want to be in. You just have to decide, again, what planet, what terrain, and your characters. However, when you're starting out, you got to remember that you're not always starting in the beginning. You're sometimes starting in the middle. And because of that, you need something that's going to reach up and grab them and just kind of pull, just kind of wake them up. One of my old professors used to walk in on the very first day and yell, sex. And everyone would be like, what? So now that I got your attention, that's how you start and get everyone in there. You need something to grab them, okay? You need something. on one of mine, you're actually talking about a war leader. Okay, this guy's in charge. He must know what's going on. But in your particular story, you might have to build up a little bit, build that situation, create a situation, but you have to do it quick or you're going to bore the hell out of people and they're just going to say, bye. Okay. With that, it's pretty easy to do. Getting the situation started and getting that first grab. But for the love of all that is holy, please do this. And please, whatever tempo you're on when you grab a hold of the audience, you have to keep that tempo. Don't just suddenly turn it up to 11 or down to -3. Okay. That's like the girls I've dated. I've dated 11s and I've dated -3s. It really depended how drunk I was. So just, yeah, I know, bad joke. Anyways, yeah, keep the tempo for the love of God. And that will help out a lot. Those of you who actually want to create your own stories, create your own situations, start off, understand your characters, your location, build the actual area around you so your character can actually move if need be, and then find out exactly at what point that you want them to come in. That's going to be your point. That's going to be your stepping off. That's going to be your grab them by the short hairs and you're going to twist them just a little bit. Don't twist them too hard or else you knock somebody off. I've unfortunately come across a few stories where you immediately start going, what the hell's going on here? And it never goes anywhere good. Okay. My notes for this week are fairly short. So I just want to get those out. And that starts my rant off here. Let's go into the comments here really quick. Hello, Mr. Sin. Mr. Okay. Today, hope you're okay. I'm good. So are you. Yeah, apparently. Liking your story. Can't wait for the next episode. I'm assuming that's a new crewmate. And you would be amazed, people, how much I have to dance around the YouTube algorithm with that one. Just because there's a lot of intimate moments. But the thing is, each intimate moment is actually wrapped around each individual species. And I wanted to bring up, I'm glad you brought that up first, Fabian. I wanted to bring up the fact that a few guys were saying in the comment section how when the character was brought in to fix or treat the captain's mating cycle situation and how he was in there for days at a time. Well, that's actually, I pulled that directly off of animals that we have here on Earth. There are many animals that will literally in the mating cycle do that until they pass out from a heart attack or lack of any type of fat on their body. They literally burn themselves out, which is kind of in her species. That's her thing. That was what I was aiming at. I didn't want to say it specifically because I didn't know how far I could push things. But that was the reason why he was in there for about a week or more. Does that mean they were active the entire week? Absolutely not. Okay. What the guys do when everything is done? Well, it looks like this. And they're just out cold because you burn so much energy. Believe it or not, in humans, men burn way more energy during that activity. If you look at the entire pregnancy, women win. But during that part, we burn way much. That's why we're so exhausted. But if the guy does his job, guess what she does? She's out cold too. So basically, there's a crazy out of control session and then 6 to 8 hours of downtime. So it works in that way. And that was the whole point of that. Just like when the guy spent like 18 hours, it could have been 20 hours or like, no, not 20, but 2 hours of foreplay, 1 or 2 go rounds, and then they slept the whole time. It is what it is. However, yeah, it gets a little funky. I don't want to spoil anything if you guys haven't actually finished up, but I will say it will seem like the last episode kind of takes a weird detour. You just kind of got to follow it. They're fairly long. Well, I don't want to say super long in comparison to the other episodes, but there's a lot of information that's dropped there. I try to do voices, by the way. Again, I'm sorry. I'm working on it. I suck. But let's go back. Hi, Cindy. Okay. Also, waving. Hi. How you doing, Ava? How you doing? I thought of calling Mr. Cindy also. It doesn't seem right. Yeah, it don't. How are you? Okay, Fabian's talking. Oh well. Audio good, video good, good. Hey, Drill, how you depuing? Depuing? I know. Slip of the yeah, I'm doing fine. Now that I got power back, I'm doing a lot better. It was amazing how long you'll sleep when you're cold all day. It's just absolutely staggering. Yeah, Fabian says, I was worried with no vids this morning. Glad to know you're okay. Yep, don't worry, Fabian. There's one out there that was dropped noon Eastern Standard Time. So there's one out there. See. Jan says, nice. Okay. Fabian, it's innuendo, not Ornpay. And yes, I have to say it that way because I guarantee some algorithm's listening to me. But yeah, that's what I have to use as innuendo. I can't actually talk about the actual act. Okay. Believe me, at one point I was actually commissioned to write that stuff. It's halfway decent paycheck if somebody actually pays. Which if you work like 4 days on it and somebody offered you $500 to write this thing and then all of a sudden they don't want to pay, you're like, well, I'm out 3 days. Might as well just post it to Reddit. Oh, wait, I'll get banned if I put it on there. So there's a whole bunch of stuff sitting in on a disk somewhere. And honestly, I got tired of writing that garbage. It's boring. It is actually boring. Let's see. War Sniper, why didn't you post yesterday and the day behind yesterday? I had no power to post. I couldn't put anything out. I didn't have anything lined up in the queue. I should have. I was falling behind. And then power out for 2 days and I can't post. It's just the way it is. I couldn't get a connection and everything goes off my desktop. I don't have anything on the laptop. The laptop fried. The only laptop I have is my gaming laptop, and the only thing goes on that is games. That's for travel. But yeah, War Sniper, that was the issue. Yeah, it's quite a time when you tire them out. Yeah, well, that's something. Yeah, we guys, we got to learn that. We have to understand all the little intricacies, and that was the whole point of the characters. He actually studied, and he gave him the 10. Not 10, but I give it a 10, a total 10. Yeah, that sort of thing. Yeah, big fingers strike again. Okay. Considering our topic, that's funny. I'm sorry, that's hilarious. Okay. I mean, come on. Yeah. General Ava, back from now, Staffson. I would like your opinion on how I've structured my forces. I have 3 corps, each numbering 5,500 players, dedicated to fighting using defensive tactics. Okay, as for someone who actually did 20 years dealing with actual warfare, I can tell you defensive tactics will only work for so long. If you are working defensive tactics, you need to have them layered. It's the standard castle defense, also known as the elastic defense. And you all know where I'm going. It's a good old-fashioned hippity-hoppity, get the fuck off my property situation. The reason why you need an elastic defense like that, so in case your first line fails, you can withdraw your forces back, tighten your defense line up, and you already have a defense line that's covering their retreat. If that's what you want, defensive tactics, but you also need offensive weapons, something that's going to reach out and touch someone right in the face and really mess them up. I do strategic games all the time with defensive measures, and I'm literally turtle shelling in there. And if you're going to use defensive measures, you have to focus 90% of everything on defensive. And you have to layer that defenses up over and over and over again. One of the main things in defensive strategies is you need something automated to heal up your characters, to do your maintenance. Doing that is going to make it a whole lot harder for anybody to bust through. And that's a big, big deal. Now, if you're working on an actual landscape, your artillery can reach out and play fun. Um, but you always have what's known as an IRF, immediate response force, whatever that might be. That might be gunships, that might be cruisers, that might be, I don't know. Name something. I can't even think of things. Anything that's going to be, that can go out quick, fight off who's coming in, and then come back for repairs. And that's the whole deal. But as far as defensive tactics, that's what you need to do. You need to turtle in, you need turtle in tight, and you need to double and triple up your defenses. Do that, and you're probably golden. You'll be able to hold out pretty much forever. The only issue is eventually someone is going to figure out how to break through, which is why you need to be able to be elastic. Okay, that's enough of me going. Wait, no power? I know where you're going, War Sniper. Yeah, no power, no problem. I know. But at least with me, no power was a major problem with posting content. It was a big problem. Believe me, the irony was not lost on me when I went over that. David says offensive tactics, and the last being a generalist. Are you asking for my opinion on offensive tactics? Offensive tactics are usually a losing battle. If you're focusing only on them, you're pretty much screwed. Because what somebody's going to do is get around to your blind spot, and they're just going to find where you're not able to attack hard enough to defend yourself. If you're mixing the two, I wouldn't waver between them back and forth. If that's your tactic, just hold on to what you got and don't just adjust halfway, because then both will suffer. The whole thing of jack of all trades, master of none. You got to be very careful about that. And in several of my stories, that's actually why they get in trouble. They're like, oh, nobody can figure out how to get down here. Well, most of the humans do. The only way to get down here is to launch themselves at the speed of sound inside tiny little metal coffins. And even then, they're going to lose 12% of them at least. Wait a minute. That's exactly what they're doing? Oh, shit. Let's see. Ooh. Yeah. The laptop. Well, laptops croak. It's just... Okay. Something about Lord of the Rings here. I don't understand the rings you guys got. Not gaming again, please. Yeah, that was the talk of last week. Was talk about gaming. I see a lot of videos on that. I was thinking about it, but I want to get my other channel up and running again. I just don't have time for it. And that one is a very, right up in your face type thing. But that is not HFY at all. That is not anything close to what I'm doing now. So, let's see. What are you thinking about for your next series? Okay, I kind of touched on this, and I got to bust out my notes here just a little bit. The next series behind Crewmate is, like I said, You Hired the Humans, Are You Insane? It was originally meant to be a two-parter, but that first one didn't get a lot of traction until just recently, and boy, did it get traction. As for the next one, I believe Flying Bricks was about to be coming up. I got my list right here. I got Flying Bricks. I've got Are We Still Human Enough? Oh, that one didn't get a lot of views. Time Management Problem. Again, that one had some, and then it kind of it spikes and down. So I worry about that one. Let's see. I did New Crewmate. A lot of people wanted me to continue on Family Guardian. I'm not too thrilled about that one. I mean, I'll do it. I have no problem doing it. And when I do it, I will do it to the best of my abilities. That being said, it doesn't get a lot of views. And also, there's one here. I don't know if it would be a series. It was actually a suggestion from you guys called We're Alive. Yep. And I've been running that one around inside the Thinking Meat for a while, and that goes in like 6 different directions all the time, and I'm having trouble nailing down a good storyline on that. But those are the series I've got lined up. Don't worry, Ambush Predator is coming. I probably won't hit it till after the new year, but it is coming. Also, Low Energy may get an extension. I stress the may part because honestly, that's just going to sound a lot like the Isekai story, and I really don't want to do that. I hate to overrun and give you guys basically the same story twice because I think that's a whole big steaming pile of bullshit. I want you guys to get new stuff that you can sink your teeth into. Kind of like, Gretnar likes to sink her teeth into Larry every once in a while. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Where was I? Okay. Turtling sounds like the T-28 super heavy tank. Yeah, pretty much. You're talking about the mouse, right? That thing was nasty. Or no, T-28. No, that's straight from. Where have I heard that? I'm trying to remember where I heard it. But anyway, the whole turtling was actually. That was the name that the Roman legion used to do when they would raise their shields. They would have one row in front, and the other ones would lay on top to stop the arrows from coming down. That was the actual call they gave, was turtle. And it's just stayed throughout the ages. And it's just a tactic that works. So the thing, Ava, you're talking about these cores. I'm not even sure which game you're talking about. I was speaking in general. So I'm not a huge gamer anymore. I just don't have time. I'd like to, but I just don't have the time to do it. I got to take care of my dad. I got to do, get everything ready for Christmas because apparently my family's going to show up because nobody wants to have Christmas at their house. So I'm like, oh, great. Now I have to buy decorations. What the hell? I think we've all been there and done that. So let's see. Was referring to me making mistakes on the keyboard. Yeah, I know, Douglas. It is what it is. I'm just saying your timing was beautiful on that. Just pizza and Coke for the stream. Good food. Hey, hopefully it's this type of Coke and not the Hunter Biden type. Or the grizzly bear type of Coke. And by the way, funny movie, just fun, gory as hell, but funny. Really dumb, gory, funny stuff. I recommend you watch it. Those of you who are partake in other stuff to make your cartoons even more funny, you're gonna probably pee yourself laughing at parts. Time management good, family guardian good. Time management isn't quite exactly time. It's you got to be careful when you're working with that type of physics. But yeah, I could extend either of them. They're both set up where they can be extended, no problem. But I'll see what goes here. Any more mechanical? Which mechanical? Oh, Mana Machine. I believe Mana Machine is. Yeah, that's pretty much done. At least for a while. I can't see how I could extend that much farther. I know everybody wants the stories that just keep going and going and going, but I do things in sagas basically where there's an actual beginning, middle, end to that portion. And that way it doesn't get too stale. Demon says, sorry I'm late. Got some sick people in the house. Oh, hell. So had to go and get cold meds for, oh, hell. Do yourself a favor there, Demon. Never mix NyQuil and Theraflu. I've done that. You'll feel better, but that's because everything is being pushed down south. And believe me, you do not want that. Just terrible. Let's see. Fabian says, any more mechs? Sorry, predictive text. That is not predictive text. Could there be more like battle mechs and stuff like that? Yeah, no problem. I could do more. Now, as far as the Galactic War Games, yeah, I do have to actually stand up like that to get that voice down. that can't be extended anymore. They pushed it to the point where the entire universe is sending their best and getting friggin' stomped into the ground. And so, like some, YouTube influencer getting it in everybody's face. They're just getting monkey stomped. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Everyone's like, yeah, if we bring anything else, the humans are going to bring out the good stuff, and you don't want to do that. But as far as BattleTech, that story was originally meant to be extended. That was meant to be generational. I've only done the original main character, and you only see the kids when they're like 8 or 9 years old. There's an extension when they're like mid-college age, almost like 19, 20 years old. But yeah, that could be extended. Our wonderful Sea Dog says, howdy, everybody, and Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you too, Sea Dog. Let's see. Bloody Christmas. I think that was supposed to be do Christmas at all. I'm the mean one, Mr. Grinch. Okay, hey. If you're one of the humbuggers, I got no problem there. And that's not a shot or either. If you go look at I forget the name, that they did an animated squirrel cartoon for a while, and he did actual humbuggers. I'm sure you can find it on YouTube eventually. And honestly, if somebody's got that way for the holidays, okay, you do you. Let's see. Ava says, my decorations being made of ammo belts, pages, and guns. Well, I can't show that on here. I will definitely be freaking banned off YouTube if I pull any of them out. They got these weird rules about that. Just, they gave me shit because I'm sure you remember when I had the case out and you couldn't actually see what was in it. And they went absolutely nuts. They're like, you can't have that. I'm like, it's a plastic case. You can't show a plastic case. If I pulled a Pelican case and put it on there, would that still be bad? What the hell's wrong with you? But, yeah, at one point that was what we decorated the tent with over in Iraq. That was fun. One of the LTs got a bug up his ass and told us to take it down. Which, by the way, I wanted to bring up that somebody put this in the comment section of the previous video. Not the live video, but one of the ones that came out. And the whole 2 days and a wake up, 3 days and a wake up, a week and a wake up, or whatever it might be. That's military slang. I'm pretty sure every single branch uses it. So if you're wondering why I said it that way, that's where that comes from. It's apparently it gave one guy the chills. Ooh, ooh. Let's see. War Sniper. It is an American sniper. Oh, American super heavy tank destroyer from World War II that had a gun on its front chassis and heavily armored. Oh, it has an, okay. Yeah, it's, wow. We had a tank, the only tank destroyer I know is the Wildcat. That thing was great in the summer, but shit in the winter because there was absolutely no overhead cover. Big gun on that thing. A lot of people don't realize that you don't take out a tank with another tank. You can, but that's why tank destroyers were made, which is why actually the Man Machine, the main gun, was actually designed to be a fleet destroying cannon. That's what I thought up, but I thought that'd be a little too, on the nose. Oh, my hands are cold. But yeah, that was the whole point of that. And that's why tank destroyers were made. That's why anti-tank guns were made too. If tanks was the end-all be-all, they would have just built tanks. Oh, that was the one with double tracks. Okay. Yep. I've seen pictures of that. That thing was heavy. I think that's the only one we've ever done military vehicle with double tracks. I know there's a couple industrial vehicles that have those, which I didn't put in there, but originally I wanted to actually have that in the story Asteroid Mining, which was based off of Big John. Anyways, yeah, but I neglected to put it in. That's my mistake. Let's see. Ava says, catapult being loaded up with nukes. Boy, I hope you're talking about a battle mech catapult, because I wouldn't want to be anywhere close. If you know what the Davy Crockett is, that's a bazooka with a nuke on the end of it. And that thing was bad enough where if you fired it, you're dead. So is the other person on the other end. But you're so close that the shock or the lethal range is you're within it. It just can't launch far enough. So, yeah. Ooh. An actual catapult as in pull? Yeah. It'd be a catapult as in pull. Okay, light your cigarettes because we're fucked. Okay, need a beer? Wait for the flash. Menacingly giggling commences. Yeah, for a few seconds. I could see the fallout. Yeah, the fallout is bad. How do we address you? Syntax 177. And then just sin is fine, or syntax, it doesn't matter. That's just fine. You don't have to go crazy. Sin is actually an old nickname that was given to me. Part of my name actually has SIN in it. I'm not going to go over where that is found, but it's there. But the fact is, my name can be pretty common. So, at least in a lot of military terms. So, yeah, it was just something to differentiate me from everybody else, and that's how it came up. So, sin is just fine. And I just thought syntax was a nice slang. Let's see. The other thing that gives you, oh yeah, general quarters. Yeah, or I don't have a bell. So the digging of the bell. Oh, I still hate those bastards for doing that. The one time I'm on a Navy ship and they're like, yeah, if you hear the bell, stick your head between your knees and kiss your ass goodbye because we're about to get hit. I mean, we were barely outside the port. Ding, 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 ding. They start doing that and they're laughing their ass off. I'm sitting there going, what do I do? Like, you jerks. But I can't argue with them. We do the same thing. We scare the crap out of the Navy guys all the time. You know, it's fun when you got a civilian up there and you just test firing your machine guns out of the side and they're thinking, oh God, we're going to get shots. Like, there's an armor plate underneath your ass, dude. Don't worry about it. Those Blackhawks are a whole lot harder to shoot down than people think. But yeah, the general quarters, that's why I use that as much as I do. Well, that, and as you know, vampire. Set all doors and hatches to conditions that. It's like, oh, they went over that a lot. And if you don't know, that means lock everything because you're about to get hit by something really big and not friendly. As you know, friendly fire is not friendly. But yeah, either one of those will friggin' pucker your asshole really quick. Let's see. Fabian says, my Christmas, I'm walking through the Lake District for a week, climbing peaks at a minimum of 3,000 feet. That sounds fun. Usually that's where I go camping. Although I'm one of the few people I know who actually would go winter camping. But if I'm going to winter camp, I'm going out there. I'm not going to be like the guys from the stories who end up there where they can't actually survive out there because they got nothing with them. No thanks. I'm bringing a pulk. It's going to have a thick tent on it. It's going to have a stove with it, and I'm going to have an axe. And if I can, I'll bring my chainsaw because I'm not going to be out there freezing my niblets off when I'm trying to sleep. Been there, done that. Not fun. Although scaring the living crap out of people. Yeah, that's always fun when you're out there just in a fart sack. And they're like, are you here? And you just kind of sit up. And they're like, they think it's Night of the Living Dead Part 2. Let's see. Lake District is UK. Okay. I don't know much about the UK, really. I know you guys are having some issues over there, just like we're having issues on this side of the pond. So it is what it is. I don't get a lot of news from over there. Let's see. Avia says the 8th deadly syntax. The 8th, is this the 8th live I've done? I don't know. I won't be able to play for another 11 hours, you know. I'd love to play. Yeah, we'd all love to just sit there and play. Let's see. Friendly fire has the right of way. Murphy is a grunt. Murphy was an absolute grunt. I actually have it somewhere. Maybe I'll break it out next time and I'll read the actual Murphy's Law. There's like 77 of them. I have it somewhere. It's over here in my stack of books. And yeah, once you pull the pin, Mr. Grenade is not your friend. And with that, a 5-second fuse burns 3 seconds. What was it? Friendly fire isn't, suppressive fire won't, and if the enemy's in range, so are you. So keep that in mind. And of course, everyone knows if anything can go wrong, it will. Of course, one of my favorites, and this was actually Private Murphy's Law, that's kind of a joke. He said, if suddenly you hit the ground because somebody's shooting at you, and your canteens land at your feet, but your rifle and ammo are 10 feet away, you're in a combat zone. In training, it's the other way around. Let's see. Yeah, that went wrong. Snow, ice, good fun times. Depending on the person. I actually enjoy winter camping, especially when I want everybody just to leave me the hell alone. Let's see. Echo Whiskey says, Vampire, the EW fires chaff, jamming, and audio, and run for the side. FC track shoots. Track wonders where the EW went before the boom. Yeah, electronic warfare, I believe. I'm not sure what FC is, but I know electronic warfare. There's so much right now. And this I've actually started to put in a lot of the stories. I need you to understand that right now, there's always a fight between offensive and defensive systems. It sways back and forth like a pendulum. And nowadays, the defensive systems are far outpacing the offensive systems. Even those hypersonic missiles, it's very, I don't want to say it's easy to track them, but it's not the hardest thing in the world, and they can be actually blasted down. You would be surprised. The 5-inch gun and the Sea-Whiz will probably do the work, but you can still get ordnance in the air to stop those things. So Douglas says, some places you might not want to be underprepared for unfriendly critters. Yeah, no kidding. Been seeing verified reports of unknown critters like cryptids. I was going to do some cryptid stories, but most of them have been done. I do have one about Siren Head. Actually, it's kind of it merges with a different story at one point. As the two different buddies. At one point, they meet up and then they go. You actually see the fight, whatever you want to say, from one guy's perspective, and if you're following the other story, you see it from the other guy's perspective. That was a fun one to write. Because trying to get all the details lined up was a real bitch. Oh, and if you're writing multiple stories that coalesce, be prepared and do not ever throw out your notes. I made that mistake. It's still biting me in the ass. Let's see. 4-second fuse burns too. I've heard that one too. Those links don't really work with streams. Which links? I don't know which one you're talking. Oh, somebody sent the link. Okay. Let's see. Murphy Laws of Combat. Murphy's Law of the Lab. Murphy's Law. Never invoke Murphy's Wrath. You're going to win a Darwin Award is what you're going to get. Although Darwin was a moron when you actually break it down. So much of what his stuff has been disproven, it actually is surprising. But it's still a good phrase, though. Murphy was, Murphy, just like Sergeant York, he literally just snapped at one point because they asked him why he did something so crazy as to jump on a burning tank and get behind the 50 cal when he knew there was a whole battalion of Germans heading his way. His response, they were killing my friends. I mean, seriously, there's no other way to do that. Sergeant York from, I believe, World War I, he watched his best friend get killed right in front of him, and he just went off. All his emotion, everything snapped, just went. And he was just At that point, he was a cold-blooded son of a bitch, cold and calculating. And that's what you don't want, because we humans are like that, because we turn in from man to machine. Are you seeing where I got the idea for the story? And a lot of people in the comments section started thinking that I was getting it from Halo. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The old phrase is, when you see a professional soldier, it's like looking at a reactor. Everything is fine until it explodes. So if it can go wrong, it will. Hello, Murphy. Yep. That is old school, Sea-Dog. If he says, oh, a good way to describe it was the battle between swords and armor smith. More like armor and arrows. Because once plate armor became widely used, it was very, very difficult. Even claymores would usually break a rib, but they wouldn't actually pierce deep enough into the armor. The arrows themselves, you started getting the very narrow, tight, almost like just like a tip of a pencil, but it was about maybe 4 inches long, and it was really heavy too. And that would actually pierce armor and go deep enough to actually puncture something vital. So when you pulled it out, you actually bled out. And that was actually one of the worst ways, because if you remove the arrow, you're dead, but you can't leave it there. So, I mean, they did what they did. Usually they would, if they could get you back and you weren't dead already, they'd yank that sucker out and hit you with a hot iron and press that in as hard as they could to try and cauterize it. Because if they didn't, again, you're dead. Because they didn't understand how to deal with sucking chest wounds. Nowadays, it's very common knowledge for everybody. Let's see. Yep, EU is electronic warfare. EU rate died in electronic warfare rate died in, okay. Fire control, or FC's fire control men. Missiles and CWIS. Ooh, yeah. That's a fun one. Anybody who doesn't know what CWIS is, you can actually see it's the anti-missile system they have on a ship, and it's affectionately known as R2-D2 with a heart on. No joke, that's what they called it, and I'm just sitting there like, guys, really? I don't know if that's too on the nose or the ultimate dad joke, because, yeah. I'm gonna, I will, Wargamer. I'm gonna look up the T-28. Okay. And you'll see the width, the tank. Yep, I'm sure. If it's double tracked, I'm sure it's a beast. If it's the one I'm thinking of, then yeah, it looks a lot like a Stug, but just more squat and wide. Echo says, I still have notes from 30 years ago. Still used for reference. Yes. If you are writing, you need to hold on to those damn notes. I should have held on to everything I did. I should have just put it in a box and carried it with me. But dummy that I was, I didn't. Well, except for the adult content stuff. Honestly, I couldn't get away from that shit fast enough. It was boring. It was seriously boring. Seriously, if you're going to end up writing that, even if somebody tries to do everything through a synonym or a handle or whatever it might be, you can always tell if it's a guy or a woman that wants it, because you can tell by the story structure they want. With guys, there's this whole like actual feelings into it and stuff like that. Like, she is your one and only, and it's just this magical bullshit. And with women, it's so formulaic. We meet, we do that. I don't even know his name. I just either continue with my day or I go home and take a shower. And that's the end of the story every single time. I don't know why that is. I'm lost. But it's 99% of the time you can tell by those two, that's what it's going to be. That's why it was boring. Both sides became the same, literally the same shit, cut and paste either side. It was annoying, which is why I do this now. And at least here, I actually have to think, just like the rest of you. You guys like to think. At least I hope so. I think you think. You think? All right. Where was I? Trying to send a link for. Don't worry about that. I don't have it set up where you can actually send the pictures and stuff where it would pop up. It's not set up here. Now, if I was on something like a Rumble chat or something, then yes, you could. This one's not set up for it. As Ava says, booking head arrows made of hardened steel, nasty things. Yeah, they were. One of the key things was on the neck, was very, very fragile. So if it buried deep enough in, when they went to pull it out, the actual shaft would pop out, and then they got to actually cut you open to dig it out, which is the first instance of them using tweezers and just like holding down. Yeah, I'm getting in there. Oh, that was nasty. Oh, wait, you're bleeding out now? Oh, shit. You know, it's like, oh, what do you do? Yeah, or Bobkin, yeah. Why does that remind me of Broken Arrow? Well, it should. It is a Broken Arrow. Yeah. You got to remember when it came to, and this is something you can put in your own story, especially if you're doing medieval. I do not do a lot of medieval stuff. Personally, I could not beat Game of Thrones if I tried. I mean, not even close. And I'm not writing a Harry Potter story. So I'm somewhere in the middle, more towards the manga side. However, if you are specifically doing a medieval story and you are using arrows in combat, you need to specify which ones you're using. Are they flaming arrows? Are they, what's considered knight arrows, which are arrows that are just painted black. So as they're advancing, you can fire a volley and they don't see it coming. They're out in the open and they all get screwed up. Are they armor piercing? Are they standard broadheads? Are they extra wide broadheads? Are they coming out of a ballista, also known as a scorpion? Are they multiple coming out of a ballista or scorpion? Are they straight coming out of there? Are they arced over? Which direction they use? All these come into play, especially with medieval weapons, and it helps your story out so much. Because seriously, the fact that I'm using science fiction, it's very simple. We all understand trajectory of bullets. However, if you're going to do medieval, not everybody understands ballistics, which comes from ballista, of the actual bolts coming from these devices. And again, if you're using a recurve, are you using a riding bow? Are you using a longbow? Are you using a crossbow? Are you using a compound? Are you using any of it that really plays into it? And one of the best ones I heard was when they were trying to use extra wide bows so much that the actual shooter, and they worked in teams, would actually hook their feet up underneath the bow itself and actually draw back with their hands. The loader would put the actual bolt in, and then they would let go. The actual pull would draw it, and the feet, originally the bow's on this side and the strings over here, and then it would doink, pull forward. So they had to actually have shielding on their feet or it would cut right through their boots. There's so much force. All that came, and as I'm reading, I'm like, that is awesome. Oh, that is so slick. That is genius. But they're using like extra heavy metal bolts to do this. And that's why the bows were so strong. And another one I seen was they were using really wide heads. And I think they said, well, they were using centimeters. So I'm guessing about 4.5 inches on either side. They were wide and broad, sitting just like this, but they were fired at neck level from the walls as you got close. And they would just launch out these big, heavy bolts, and they would just take you off. It's disgusting, but the way they described it was great. Where was I? Add lasers to the fighters now with an approximate range of 100 miles. Are you talking real time or are you talking sci-fi on that, Scarborough? I don't know which one you're talking about. I know a lot of lasers are not able to condense tight enough at range to do that, which is the major issue. If you're able to do the refraction that basically spins it in on itself, then yeah. The thing is, you still need line of sight. And a lot of folks are just bringing in their aircraft real low and then to pop up just enough time to get a lock, and they fire. By the time you even get your laser on, they're already diving back down. It's a whole thing. Those pilots, man, they're good. I've tried to do simulators against actual pilots, and he literally ran rings around me as I'm like, had the glasses on, like, where the hell is he? Oh, he's over there. Hold on. I'm trying to crank house sideways. Next thing, he's over there. You slick bastard. What are you flying in? I'm in an F-22. You're an F-16. And you're doing that to me. Jerk. We went out for beers afterwards. He was laughing the whole time. I was like, yeah, I lost. I'll buy the drink. But anyway. Yeah, Bobcat arrows are basically the 50 cal AP rounds of the 1400s. Nasty stuff. Let's see. Fabian, what about character sewing themselves up in front of aliens? I do it myself. I'm going to write that down. You know what? Let's go see Doc. I'm writing it down right now. I like that. Sewing yourself up. And I'm actually putting Fabian here so that when I get around to that, which I get, it's written down now. It's written down now. So if I get to that one, that I like that. You just gave me a really good idea. I'm gonna have to work out some extra shit, but that's probably gonna fall into the same one as the humans. They're so quiet. Why are they so quiet? Yeah, that'd probably fit into that really, really well. Demon says, I did write a full book once. I was transferring it from paper to my computer. Hit print and hope you don't run out of ink. Then the house burnt down and lost it all. I kind of never went back to rewrite it because I just never felt the same. Yeah, I've had that. That demon, that it happens. Okay. I've written some down that I just have no interest in actually putting in audio recordings because honestly, some of them suck because I was really, really starting to learn. But yeah, if you don't have the I don't want to say inspiration, but it's very close. I don't know what the right word would be, but to actually get it down on paper, especially when you've done all that work and now you have to do it twice and you're trying to remember all the minute little details, man, that's hard. That is very hard to do. All I can say is if you have something of a similar one, then I suggest you write something similar, like maybe in the same, like a side character. Grab that side character and do a story that is parallel in the timeline to that first one. That might help. I've known several people who do that. I've done it once or twice, and it works sometimes. I should try it and see if it works for you. That's all I can say. Let's see. Fabian says, nice to find someone who knows history combat and uses its stories. I use the history of combat because that saved my ass more than once, more than a dozen times, actually. Even in training situations, I'd be done and everyone would be like, where the hell did you learn? We didn't train on that. Where did you learn how to do that? Well, I talked to this old guy, and usually they're like, yeah, whatever, just whatever. Something as simple as making sure that your runner has a replacement every time they make one run. You have them sit down and take a break. You don't have the same runner each time. Some people think that's funny. No, you're just burning the guy out. What if you got to bug out? What is he going to do? Sit there and throw up? It's little things like that. But yeah, combat history is a great way, at least in this genre, the HFY genre, is a great way to make sure your stories don't suck. Main reason, it actually happened. Let's see. War Sniper says, I mean Broken Arrow in being overrun and asking every unit in the AO area of operations for support. Yeah, it's not really used as much anymore. It's usually by the time you're on the radio, they're already calling in reinforcements before you even have a chance to call for them yourself. But yeah, that's like just yelling Mayday over the radio, which playing MechWarrior Online, I got a lot of shit because people are like, did he just say Mayday over the radio? I'm like, yes, I did. You left me behind, you pieces of garbage. I'm your missile boat, pal. Just stop leaving me behind. But yeah, asking everybody to show up. Yeah. Douglas says, real time, some F-22s and F-35s are being fitted with them. Fitted with what? Oh, with the lasers. With the laser oh yeah, they have a laser designator. It's a really good one too. If they're actually being outfitted with actual offensive lasers, I haven't seen it. I have not seen it. Yeah, Fabian says Imperial measurement Uber or user myself. Yeah. Yep. Let's see. Oh, it's all good. It was 2018 when you burned your place down there, Demon. Yeah. Sometimes you just got to drive on with what you got. Ava says, first off, Sharp, there's two types with that kind of range and power is compound laser array. Yeah, I've heard of that one. And one I can't remember its name, but it uses a series of smaller, weaker lasers to achieve its range. Dang it. When I was reading that, it went into my mind. It starts with a C. It's not compound. It's damn it, what is it? I'm gonna have to look that one up there, Ava, because I don't remember. But yeah, they use that, and it basically combines the laser like the freaking, not quite the same as the Death Star, but the premise is the same. Multiple lasers going together, and the fact that they merge, they actually spiral and mix in with each other, and it makes a much stronger, solid laser. Is it conducive? No, not conducive. God damn it. I shouldn't be cursing here, folks. I had it on the tip of my tongue while I was reading that, and I can't remember. Character idea. The physical embodiment of Murphy has the worst luck, but somehow keeps surviving. I kind of touched on that with we keep knocking them down, but they keep getting back up. It's easy to knock them down, but we can't keep them down. It was one of my older stories that I did. I was within the first 3 months. I did one on that, like everybody just getting the crap kicked out of them, no matter what they did, but they just wouldn't stay down. That was the whole thing. Let's see. Fabian says, can you make flint or obsidian knives? Very good idea for a story. Flint or obsidian knives. Well, I'd be hesitant about making flint, just because you can't really merge that. That'd be just a hunk of rock that you kind of chipped away. You can do it with obsidian a little bit, but trying to actually melt it down to make it, well, you can melt down flint. It's just not easy to do. At least I'm not a metallurgist, so I can't figure that one out. Well, since Demon loves the idea, I'm going to write it down. I'm going to actually write down Murphy's luck. That's from Ada. And that would, I'd have to go through hold Murphy's Law and go down and pick and choose them at a time. Like the guy throwing, it's like, okay, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4. What the? I thought it was 5. Anyways. Well, folks. Oh, shit. What do we got here? Oh, I feel special now. Compound laser array uses a lot of high-powered lasers using either mirrors or lenses, compounding them into one beam. Yeah, it does. Over and over and over again. The only thing is, if you don't keep those optics clean, the whole thing melts down and explodes. I mean, not blows up. The optics explode. In other words, all your mirrors and your lenses will literally overheat in moments. I hope our engineer friend and new crew member part 6 will be. Well, we haven't get part 6, I believe, is dropping tonight, and I forget which one is dropping tonight and which one was dropping tomorrow. Just remember, there's only 7 parts, so if 7 drops tonight, then or 6 drops tonight, then 7's tomorrow. I thought 6 was the one that went down today, and 7 comes out tonight. So we'll see how that works. The other is a series of diodes that all point at the same target. Yep, that's what I was talking about. I think it's called the conducive beam, but don't quote me on that. Death by a million burns, but yeah, you can say the same thing about a actual nuke. That's a lot of burns. It burns when I pee, man. Okay, I'm not sure what you're getting at there, War Sniper. Maybe I'm reading it wrong. With that shit of a woman that set. Oh. Anyway. Let's see. Lego Fleet says, hey, Sin, had an idea about a person making a report on Earth and they find out about the A10 and how we take joy in watching our own people die. I think I saw your comment before. You put a comment in one of the videos. You know what? I'm going to write A10. I'm going to work on that. I'm going to work on that one. I'm just going to write down A10. It's just fun. More DACA, more better. Wah! What was that sound? Those guys exploding. But it came from there. Let's see. Fabian says, I was thinking space humans get crash landed and have to use old humans. I already did that one. I did that one. It's like the Forgotten Ways or something like that, Fabian. I did that story already. Let's see. Ava says, aliens find out about stepping on Lego and how scary human children aren't. Okay. For a while there, I didn't understand the whole stepping on Legos thing, and somebody had to explain it. In case you're lost, I was. There's one of these stories. It was supposed to be a futuristic story where a guy didn't understand much. His wife was wearing some sort of antenna on her head where he could feel what she felt during the whole schnook, snoo, snoo thing. And she was walking along. She stepped on a Lego, and the pain made him friggin' repaint his walls. And so every time I hear stepping on Legos, I'm just like, guys, really? I'll tell you what. For the new crewmate, the entire floor of that ship must be covered in Legos. That's for certain. Just covered in them. But yeah. Yeah, scary human children. See, the thing I worry about that because that's been done a lot. I've known a lot of story makers that do the whole thing about how children are trained at a young age to fight because of the games they play. So, in the end of part 6, the engineer finds his old lady crew that destroyed his future, and I hope he'll be fine and he gets saved. Well, you got to watch 6. I hope he gets marks from the inspector. Good marks from the inspector. Again, everything's tied up in a nice little bow. I don't think I left too much hanging there. Of course, neither did Joey, apparently. But yeah, so you got through 6, and apparently people like the end of that one. Oddly enough, I kind of ripped that off. What was his? There's a comic, just punch in Felt Face. It's a guy runs a puppet, and he does a whole thing about being sober. And I took his line because it fit so perfect, But hey, if anybody here hasn't actually listened to it yet, I don't want to say it here. Let's see. Sorry for following a few readers, authors can't remember who's done what. It's fine, Fabian. There's so much content out there. Do you have any idea how many hours of content there are just from somebody like Net Narrator alone? And he's just pulling off Reddit and reading it. I mean, there's so much out there. Of course, again, if I heard Rex is a good boy one more time, I was going to shoot somebody. So anyway, folks, we've been going for just over an hour. And there's actually not a whole lot of folks here. So I'm going to end the chat there. Hopefully next time I will be able to break out Murphy's Law. I'm going to go over it. And wait, I remember I will be silent. Yeah, whatever. Silent. Oh, we're quiet until we're not. That's for sure. And we're nice until we're not. That being said, final safety brief for everybody to take care of yourselves, and just in case I won't see you before Christmas. So everybody have a Merry Christmas. Even if you're out there walking the Lake View or however it was over in the UK, and, go see the family, or, you do you. That's all I can say. However, if you drink, you don't drive. If you dive, you don't drink. If your buddy wants to drink and drive, kick their fucking ass. And if the judge gives you crap, send them to me. I will show up and I will make sure you get off, because I told you to kick their ass. Make sure if your little soldier going in the bush, make sure he wears his poncho. Keep your powder dry, people. Always good for you. And be careful around everybody, especially this time of year, because not everybody listens to the safety rules. And because of that, the roads are going to be a little nasty. So I'll see y'all next week. Take care of yourselves. This is Syntex, punching out.